Hey, it's Clay Trader at claytrader.com. In this stock trading quick tip video, I want to talk about a concept that probably I should have done sooner than what I'm doing it now because it's such a portfolio killer. I mean, it's one of those things where it affects traders all the time. It still affects me, and it's something where if you're not careful, it's going to get you, and it probably will always get you at some point. But when you know what's going on and just understand the dynamics that are occurring, it becomes a little bit easier to try to avoid. But I still struggle with it, and I think most other traders really do too, and that's the imagination. Now, if this was creative writing, or if we were drawing a picture or trying to write a movie script, then yeah, we want to have a great imagination. But as traders, we want to have a bad imagination. We want to have, the worse our imagination, the better. And the reason for that is we don't want to start to think we see things, and I'll explain more about that. But bad imagination is what it is all about, and that's what I want to focus on here, a great characteristic that all traders have. So as always, I'm going to draw things up in a graph. So down here we have time from last trade. So you make a trade here, and then as soon as that trade ends, the time starts to go where you haven't made a trade. And then up here we have boredom. Now let's think about the relationship between the time from the last trade you made and boredom. The relationship is right here. Meaning, as time from last trade goes into the future, your boredom level is going to start to increase. So if we were to pick a spot right here, right down here, you just made the trade, so your boredom is going to be, it's pretty much going to be non-existent. However, you get over here, it's been a long time since your last trade, and now your boredom, when you match it up over here, is going to be much higher. And this is where we get into the meat and potatoes of the lesson here. And that comes in the form right here. And this line is your imagination. This is the imagination line, and this line is not good. And when this is crossed, it takes us into the imagination zone. The imagination zone, or as I like to call it also, the portfolio killer zone, is where as traders, we get so bored that we start to, I think that looks like a good trade. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I see a trade opportunity there. And then what do? You start to put money on the line, and you lose money. In other words, you are forcing a trade. If you're part of my Inner Circle trading group, you hear me talk to the members all the time. Don't force trades. Sometimes the best trade you can make is no trade at all, but it's still hard because when boredom reaches a certain level, you get into this imagination zone, your mind, the psychology of it is going to start to trick you. You're going to start to imagine that you see things that really aren't there. So the goal is to get here. I'm making it green because if you can make it to this zone, this is where the profits are, and this is the reality zone. Eventually, if you can fight off your imagination, you're going to get back into a clear mind. Sure, it may still be a long time since you've made a trade, but you're going to just fight through it and say, all right, yeah, I know my imagination was trying to trick me, but I need to be patient. If I need to tie my hands behind my back and wait for the right trade, then that's what I need to do. But reality, that's where you want to get. But you're going to have to fight through the imagination zone, the force the trade zone, the portfolio killer zone, whatever you want to call it, because it happens to everybody. Long time goes by, and then your imagination starts to kick in. Now, the key, how do we fight through? The key right here is rules. And I'll add in even strategy. Rules and strategy. What do I mean by that? Well, if you don't have rules, then you have no idea if you're imagining something. But if you're using a strategy with rules, you're going to be able to tell yourself, hey, wait a second, imagination. You're telling me that I see something, but that's violating one of my rules. Or wait a second, imagination. That's not what the strategy says I should be doing. And it's going to act as a buffer. It's going to help you fight through and get back into the reality zone. This area is only temporary. Granted, it's a hard zone to get through. But when you have rules and a strategy, it becomes much easier. And then you can get back into reality where your imagination finally gets kicked to the curb and you know what to look for. But again, I want to stress it. If you've watched any of my other quick tip videos, you hear me talk about rules and strategy. You have to have a plan all the time. This is why, because if you don't have rules and don't have strategy, then nothing can be broken. Think about that. If there are no rules, then nothing can be broken. You can't do anything wrong. we need rules because we need to know if our imagination is telling us to do something wrong. So crucial for me, I use technical analysis and charts to develop my rules and strategy. I'd encourage you to look into that, but if you have another method, that's fine. The key though, gotta have rules and strategy, because that's what's gonna get you through the zone, back into reality, and then you're gonna be able to sit there and make wise and educated decisions. All right, I was just informed that this is off the screen. So this box over here is just a reminder, the reality zone. So again, that's where we wanna get. Green box over here is reality zone. If you wanna see an example of this taking effect, click on the link down in the description. If you're watching this on YouTube, down in the description box. If you're watching this on my site, just look in the post itself, and you'll see where I let my imagination take over, and it cost me $225 as I got squeezed on the short side. So, watch that video for a real life and an instance where time had gone by, my boredom level got too high, and then I let my imagination trick me. And that trick was a $225 mistake where I just thought I saw something, I forced the trade, and then I got to reality. However, reality was a $225 loss. So definitely check out that video if you want to see this concept really play out in an actual trade. A couple things I want you to do if you enjoyed this video. First, click the like button down below. That really helps out. As long as you continue to show that you like these videos, I will keep on making them. And a great, easy way to do that is just to click the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel. Keep up to date with what's going on with my live trade videos, with other quick tip videos I do. So by subscribing, very easy way to do that. And then also just check out claytrader.com. Look into some of the training courses. Consider joining the private trading group. Everything very fairly priced. And at the end of the day, don't take my word for it. Go read some testimonials and get a good third-party perspective. And then finally, I apologize for the scruffiness, but I don't have a boss. There's no dress code around here, so I pretty much shave whenever I want to. So if I look a little homeless, that is why. So thanks again for watching. Remember, kill your imagination. We want bad imaginations, and trade without emotion.